Hello. So for this video, I will be comparing Snow White with Sleeping Beauty. So for the first major difference, I noticed that Sleeping Beauty was a lot more stylized than Snow White. While I was looking at the animals in particular, I noticed that some animals closely resembled ones from other Disney movies, especially the owl and the rabbits really reminded me of the ones from Winnie the Pooh and the owl from Sword in the Stone too. They're not identical, but you can definitely see the signature Disney style is setting in by now. The animals in Snow White are stylized too, but it's a lot further away from the really recognizable Disney style that I'm familiar with. And of course, the animals are given human emotions in both films in typical Disney fashion. They're not quite anthropomorphic yet, but I think we're getting there. Um, I saw that Princess Aurora herself was more stylized than Snow White. Like, Snow White has much more realistic proportions, while Sleeping Beauty looks more like a Barbie doll. Uh, So one thing that I found impressive was how detailed the backgrounds are in Sleeping Beauty. It's a very beautiful movie. Uh, I would say Snow White is a lot less detailed. Um, of course, Sleeping Beauty was made a long time after Snow White, so that makes sense. It's amazing to see how much the animation and the style develop between these two movies. So, as for similarities, both movies make use of cell animation, with Snow White being the first to use this technique. This allowed for much more detail than if the backgrounds had to have been drawn every single frame. It's also probably the reason they were even able to make Snow White into a full-length movie in the first place. Um, Another similarity is that they both used the multiplane camera. Uh, the multiplane camera was actually invented specifically to make Snow White. It was invented so they could animate on more than one plane, which gave the animation a little more depth. Um, so another similarity is that both films made use of the rotoscoping technique, where they referenced real actors to give the characters more realistic movements. I think it was more apparent in Snow White since a lot of the characters are less stylized. You can see it in Sleeping Beauty too, but I would say it's less obvious. Um, Overall, the two movies were similar in animation style and story-wise as well, but you can really see how much they improved on their techniques and developed the things that make Disney movies unique.